Good morning, Jim Laird joining you live from Grand Pacific, Nicaragua, essentially my outdoor kitchen. It's way too windy to be doing the show upstairs today, so we're down here in the kitchen with my big window open and my door open and all the good things. So just got back from Panama, did my first border run. Uh, every 90 days, I'm here on a tourist visa, so you can stay as long as you want, but every 90 days you have to reset your tourist visa and leave the country. Um, and so I flew to Panama and came back. It was super simple, really easy process. If you ever fly to Nicaragua, I highly recommend the VIP service at the airport. It's $34. They sit you down in a room with the bar and food, and they go through customs for you. It's a really, really easy experience. So not a problem at all. But Nicaragua is interesting. Unlike other countries, one in particular, Nicaragua actually cares who's here, and they don't want people to come into the country that can't support themselves. Rightly so. Every country has the right to do that. They have the right to know who's coming into the country. And so they particularly like people that fly in and fly out because that shows that you're able to take care of yourself, right? So they obviously don't want people, they've got enough problems taking care of their own people. They want to bring people into the country who can help them help their people, which makes total sense to me. So unlike some other countries specifically that will remain nameless, I'm pretty sure you can guess what I'm talking about. But it was a great experience. Um, Highly recommend VIP service at the airport if you ever come here, because it's just the language barrier. They know the system. They run your bags through the X-ray. You sit in the lounge, you give them your passport, you give them $10 to pay your tourist the fee, and you're set. And you send you on your way. And 90 days later, you leave, come back again, no problem. So, and then Panama's a great. It's a direct flight, about an hour. So you can get cheap flights to Panama City from here. I stayed there for a day or two just to kind of check it out because I've never been there. Next time I'll probably stay longer because I wanted to see make sure my housekeeper could take good care of my dog, and she did a really good job. So on to today's topic. This is kind of crazy. I'm going to share my screen. I saw this on Dr. Cruz, Dr. Jack Cruz's Twitter, and he's been talking about this on a bunch of podcasts lately, and it's really, really shocking, honestly. I can see Dr. Cruz's Twitter if you want to have your brain split in half from time to time. The highest top 10 biggest revenue in the U.S. for 2024. Commercial banking, $1.3 billion. The fractional reserve banking system is a racket. If you haven't figured that out already, I highly recommend reading The Creature from Jekyll Island. It will split your head. It'll make you angry. But once you kind of know how the system works, it's a little easier to operate within the system. Following close second to that is hospitals in the U.S. Now, I will say, at 1.3 billion, I will say that modern medicine, as far as like emergency room care, like you have a head injury, you break something, you get shot, you get stabbed, amazing. They do an incredible job fixing broken things, no doubt. Like chronic infections, boom, we can stop it dead in their tracks. Number 3, drugs, cosmetic, toiletry, and wholesaling in the U.S. I would imagine drugs is much of that profit. It's all these top, they're so close, like millions of dollars of difference. So the top 2, and then health and medical insurance in the U.S., then pharmaceuticals, and then we go to new car dealers in the U.S., which is shocking to me. Given the state of the economy and the interest rates and all that kind of stuff. Number 8, public schools in the U.S. But we have one of the worst education systems in the world. And then, of course, the evil gas and petroleum companies at 9, and retirement and pension plans in the U.S. So you can see the medical system is just absolutely making a boat ton of money off people being chronically sick and being on drugs. I mean, I can't remember the statistics of what the average person, how many drugs the average person in the U.S. is on, but it's very shocking, very shocking. Thanks for the like, by the way, whoever liked that. Words cannot describe. You know, Dr. Stillman and I, one of our goals and kind of our mission statement is teaching people not to need medicine, right? And the whole medical system is kind of set up for the opposite. They want you to be a repeat customer forever, and that's really unfortunate. And I think, you know, that's why individual ownership is so important. If you look at, and I'm sure the strongly recommended application that they've pushed hard for the last couple of years, or you lose your job or something like that, has a lot to do with the drug companies. I wonder if they took that into consideration with that. I imagine that would push the profits up even higher. I don't know if that was factored into that or not, but the government paid for that as well. But it just goes to show you the racket, how much money we're spending on, how much money the U.S. is spending on healthcare, and yet has one of the most unhealthy populations in the world. There are countries that spend a fraction of this on healthcare and get much better results. Obviously, they don't have all the fancy tools, but it's insane. And the public schools too. Like, the amount of money we spend on schools in the U.S. Is crazy. The fact how poor the outcomes are. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that we're teaching children in a way, we're teaching children to be little adults instead of letting them be kids, right? So I just wanted to point that out really quick. And really the answer to this is decentralization and you taking ownership of your own health. So one of the ways Dr. Stillman and I kind of are helping people around this is every week we do a weekly lesson. You can get on our email list. It's completely free. Get on the email list every Wednesday night. This week is about self-quantification tracking. We've almost got 100 people signed up already. So there'll be an email going out tomorrow night. You can sign up for that lesson. And even if you can't tune in at 10 o'clock Thursday for the live session, you can listen to the replay. So that's kind of Dr. Stillman and my way of working against the system, you might want to say, because that's insanely ridiculous. Everybody talks about how evil the oil and gas industries is, but just look at the pharmaceutical companies, and then you go into all the food subsidies. The government subsidizes the food, you know, all the cruddy food. Carrots cost more than a Twinkie. You know, you start getting into all that, and you can see it's like a giant racket. I don't know if a bunch of people got together in a room and decided they were going to do this, but it's really a great business model, but it's not very ethical, obviously, and it's not very, I would say, moral, so to speak, making money off sick people. It kind of makes me cringe, but just wanted to point those numbers out to you so you can take a look at them and think about them, and just let that roll over into your everyday choices. Like, I want to take care of myself, so I don't need to contribute to this atrocity as far as I'm concerned. So have yourself a great day. Make sure you get outside. Make sure you get on our email list. And we'll see you again tomorrow.